Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Master Division in the Spring Major Tournament with the tournament win. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. You can become the best tournament player in the game by becoming a Patreon. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy and the best guides you can find there in the description down below. This is going to be an insane tournament. You will in this playthrough alone see me drop 6 out of the 9 holes, and the rest of them is also going to be close. So, you know, I would not be surprised if we do see people winning this tournament with minus 35, 36, or maybe even better than that. Obviously, it all comes down to hitting the ball perfect, because we are going to have the par 4s where play with short irons and long irons, where, you know, a perfect ball is either, you know, a perfect ball is gonna be most likely in, or with a great ball, we're gonna kind of almost lose a shot if we're not getting that one to drop. In the end, everyone, make sure you comment in the comment section below if you have any questions. Follow the info box on the right hand side to follow through when it comes to elevation, what type of ball and what type of club. I would say that if you do have an Apocalypse level 5+, you can play Master in this tournament and do very well. The final little thing that I want to say, listen carefully about the par 3s. And the reason I say that is because I've adapted and changed Powerball settings to then adapt it to the adjustments so we get the correct rings to pull. So really listen to that so you're not just focused on what you see on the screen. So in the end, let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we are going to go straight forward using a 2.2 side spin right, and we're going to play 5.5 bar top spin, starting with the red ring by the rough line at +1 yard mark. So now you can see that I'm going to change from playing with a Burns ball, which is a power 3 ball, as we do want to play with a power 2 ball. So I'm changing to an Aurora here in the end, and for those of you playing with a turkey ball, arrow ball, and you know, rugby ball, those type of balls that do have power 2, win 5, side spin 1, then you start with those type of balls instead. The reason I started with a power like a Burns ball or, you know, baseball 3-point ball is due to having, you know, the side spin, so I get the correct side spin there. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 3 numbers, very important. Even though we play with power 2 ball, power 3 ball settings, and 352 yards, which is a little bit short, but we had a very high wind as well. Now, second shot, we're going for a rough bump. Those of you don't feel comfortable with that, you bounce up towards the pin, but I feel comfortable with my perfect, and therefore I do play the rough bump, because now I know we can dial this one in. 2.2 bars side spin to the right and 5 bars of top spin. Spin could be changed depending on if you have a great left or a great right with your drive, because that will change the angle you will get into the rough bump. Yellow ring, top of the yellow ring, just slightly outside the rough, you know, and then we're going to adjust medium distance with a 10% over adjustment as default, but you can see that we are in very close to max distance. So for 352, I do play this one as 89% slider. So we play this one actually closer to max, but use the slider to estimate the distance. I think that's kind of crucial to get this ball to bounce into the rough there. Great left and great right, if you hit a yellow great left or a yellow great right, is safe, because it has been tested by yours truly. But with a double great right or a double great left, that will risk either the tree or missing the rough completely. For hole number 2, we're going to play a rough bump, and here we're going to play with a power 0 or power 1 ball. Up to you, whatever ball you want to play with. I play with a power 0, wind 5 ball. I'm playing 2.5 bar backspin and 2 bars of side spin to the left. And now it's very important, tip of the ball guideline just before the hole, but at the right side of the pin. Very, very important. Now we're adjusting maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment and power 1 ball setting. So it doesn't matter if you play with a power 0 ball or a power 1 ball. It's power 1 ball setting that you are going to use. And, you know, quarterback is going to be the club. Don't choose the rock. Quarterback is enough. With a double great right, you might risk missing the rough, but a single great left or right, you will still clip the rough and you will then have the birdie. But the reason we choose this very aggressive approach is because with a perfect, it's either going to be in or it's going to be just burning the edge. For hole number 3, we are going to position ourselves for the funnel. This is going to be a must albatross no matter what we say. So 5 bars of topspin, and I'm using as much side spin to the right possible. With Apocalypse level 5, 6, we have right side of the blue ring by the rough. If we do have Apocalypse 7 or 8, we go half of the 4th ring inside the rough to the right. Then we adjust max plus 10, push up our target to max, and then we're gonna go with approximately 2 rings of overpower. And 2 rings is that you have the tip of the needle going past the red ring where you see the top of the needle. Now we're looking for a yardage around 382, which is pretty much ultimate in my opinion. And from there we are going to play -5%. And this is like, you can play it 2 ways when it comes to 382. You can either play with minimum distance completely, power 3 ball settings, or you're using power 1 ball settings, -5% and 16% slider. The thing that I would like you to do here for the second shot is to have a minor pull angle, because we need to push ourselves a little bit more back. And that's what we're doing when we have a minor 12 or 1. And obviously when it comes to the sniper, the thing that we do need to do in the end is to hit perfect. If we don't hit perfect, we are not going to see ourselves getting it in the hole all the time. But with a perfect and that massive funnel that we have there, we're gonna see that shot drop way more times and then not. The ball comes in nicely and we take, almost straight that pin for a nice albatross. For hole number 4, we are not going to play with a power 0 ball. We are going to, however, though, play power 1, side spin 3, wind 5. Red ring just slightly above the rough with the ball guideline to the hole, which means that we do need to add spin before we put our position. 3.1 top spin, and we're putting as much side spin to the left possible. And now for the range that we're going to pull, we are going to pull with a slight 1159 here, very important. And then we do play maximum distance with a 5% over adjustment, power 3 ball settings. Very, very important. So power 3 ball settings, maximum distance with a 5% over adjustment. And the reason we do go short here is due for the fact that we do play with just a 12 full angle. We do need a little 1159 so we can get a little bit more distance and therefore come in with speed towards the pin. For hole number 5, we do have once again a hole where we need to drop max topspin, and we're starting in max position. Now we're going to look at the ball guideline. We do want the ball guideline to show that we're gonna go, straight down the middle of the other fairway. From here we adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, power 3 ball setting. So we're not changing anything when it comes to the power setting here. Now we're going to go with overpower. 5 rings of overpower if you play with Apocalypse level 7 or 8. If you play Apocalypse level 5 or 6, I would recommend to go with max overpower instead, just to try to gain a distance that's going to be around 390 to 405 yards. Second shot, we're going to play the same spin no matter what yardage we're gonna have, and we're gonna rely on our yardage table. 1 backspin and max left spin here, and ball guideline is going to go through the hole just barely. Now 403, and we are going to, or like 402, I don't remember. We're gonna adjust this one for 2.7 rings, and then we're going to take our shot. We play 10% in terms of elevation, and we're using obviously the slider to adapt for position. And when it comes to the the slider here from 402, we play 16%. Roll number 6 is going to be the toughest hole that we do have here in Master, but we actually have an okay wind, I must say. Max top spin, and then as much side spin to the right possible. Then we're going to take a look at the ball guideline. We do want it to be approximately 2 rings from the bunkers to the right after we have added spin. Now we adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And once we have done that, we're going to push up our target into max. Obviously, the better driver you're having, the easier this hole is going to get. And those of you playing with a POC 5 and a POC 6 is going to struggle, especially getting the distance for the second shot. But I'm going to explain what you're going to do if you do come short with this drive. Because with an Apocalypse level 8, and also with a level 7, we are going to get up to approximately 440 to 460 yards. And the longer, the better. Because then it means that we're not going to go with any overpower for the second shot. You see that I have Berserker Ball in the info box on the right, but that's the only reason. It's because I cannot display another Power 5 ball because I don't have a picture of it. But we do want to play with Power 5, Wind 3, Side Spin 1, Stealth Ball, Mask Ball, Season 18, Season 22. You know, there is plenty of... No, sorry, Relic Ball, not Season 22. There are plenty of them. Second shot, we play Cataclysm. We do need all the distance that we can get. And now we're going to go for the rough bump. I don't expect anything for this shot at all. But obviously, when we don't need to go with any overpower, we're going to, of course, give it a go. So, max left spin, which is 2.5 bar. And then we're going to move up front a pretty decent bit here with our position. And we'll play this one 5.2 bars backspin ball guideline through the hole. And again, now we're having the Cataclysm level 8, so have in mind that the Cataclysm level 6, or like 5, 6, 7, do not have the same ball guideline, so therefore you're gonna be less through the hole with those type of clubs. Medium distance with a 40% over adjustment is what I'm adjusting here, and don't forget the overpower in the end, because we are using overpower to compensate for, you know, dropping down to a lower point. So using a little overpower so the needle will shake a tiny little bit, but we bounce into the rough, we roll nicely down for an albatross on hole 6, which once again, you know, it's not something that we can count with, but if we can get this one to drop like from time to time, that's a super bonus. So for hole number 7, we're going to play a rough bump, and we're going to play with 3 bars of left spin, and we're going to play with 1 bar of top spin. So very easy and firm spin adjustment. Now we're putting the top of the yellow ring by the rough line, right side of the yellow ring by the sand. And then we're going to make sure one thing here. We are going to have to play with an 1159 when we're pulling the rings. We have just a minor 1159. I do want us to go with a bit more pull angle here, to have, you know, to pull us more straight forward instead of then pulling ourselves, you know, more left. Because the more left we're going, the more up on the hill we're gonna come, and the more we're gonna risk missing the pin. Now we come in hitting the pin here, which is nice, but again, we need to tweak that one a little bit and go with a little bit better pull angle. When it comes to this hole here, we are going to play this one maximum distance with a 10% under adjustment Power 5 ball settings. So once again, I do change the Power 5 balls power settings to adapt to our adjustment to get the correct type of rings. For hole number 8, we're going to go straight forward, and we are going to use a Power 4, Wind 4 ball if we do can. And the reason we're going to use a ball like that is due to giving us distance, but also to reducing the wind as much as possible. Max top spin, and I'm using 3 bars of left spin, and we do want to have the tip of the ball guideline, or like the second bounce, to be just in the rough on the other side of the sand. So you can see here with the second bounce is going to be just there in the rough. That's going to be our starting point. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. And once we're done, we're going to go max overpower here. So with a great left and a great right, we will still see ourselves coming over the fairway many of the times. If you do play with Apocalypse level 5 and level 6, you might wonder, is this even possible? Yeah, it is, but it's gonna be difficult, and many of the times you will clip the rough and roll out, but you will still have a long iron towards the pin. You will, however, though, have a possibility to play down to the left-hand side, which is a route that I'm working on at the moment. Unfortunately, I don't have that much to display about that, but we are going for a max distance long iron, or we're going for a minimum distance sniper from that position. But if we continue straight forward, we're going to play from 412, we're going to play maximum distance with a 25% over adjustment. So even if we're not in maximum distance, that is the adjustment that we're gonna go. White ring, top of the white ring by the start of the fringe, and then it's time to, you know, obviously adapt spin from the position here. And I'm using 2 bars of backspin aiming directly to the hole. And then I'm actually adjusting this one maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. But again, that's why I'm suggesting 25% in the info box, because that's going to be the elevation that we are going to play. So we adjust, and then it's time to take our shot. Perfect ball, and obviously we would love to see ourselves making an eagle here, but we are just barely close. But in the end, you know, max plus 25, then we would be getting that one in the hole. Hole 8, though, is the toughest of the par 4s, but in the end, still, as any other holes in this tournament, a super good opportunity. For hole number 9, we're going to attempt to go with a power slice here, and we're only using a reference spot here. We're not going to adjust anything, therefore there is no elevation information for the first shot. And here I'm using half of the yellow ring to be inside the rough and the rest of it outside the rough. Using then 6 bars of top spin, 1 bar of right spin, and then we're going to go with 75% of the ball outside the adjustment ring to the right in curl, and max over power, and then for a power slice. The thing that's gonna happen is could be 3 things. 1, we do get the ball to stop on that fairway pad that we just bounced over and through, or we go into the sand, or we go into the rough. No matter what's gonna happen though, we're still going to have an opportunity from distance, and that's going to be with a straight tailwind. Obviously, I do hope that you are better than what I am from the sand, because if that's gonna happen, that's my Achilles heel big time, because I have struggled so much hitting perfect, and I'm not gonna hit perfect here either. But so 3 things that can happen, and no matter what though, all 3 things is better than trying to use a wind resistance ball and then lay up short on the pad of, you know, on the very top pad, and then go for an over adjustment, a massive over adjustment and a rough bump. So we're going to have to cope with this, and this is going to be a hole where, you know, many players will be hitting an albatross fairly easy. I like to play with, you know, a wind 0 power 5 ball, like Liberty ball, Snow Globe ball, some type of ball like that we do have a lot of wind but also power. Berserker ball is not what I want to play with, as then we can have a very low wind with that type of ball some of the times. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division here in the Spring Major Tournament. We will see some insane scores, and you have just seen me dropping every shot except for hole number 4, 8 and 9, which, you know, most likely could drop as well. So we are in for a treat when it comes to making drops, but it's also going to be difficult because we do require hitting perfect on every hole. So those of you that can execute properly is gonna do very, very well in this tournament. Get the best text guides on the market by becoming a Patreon. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is in the description down below. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Spring Major Tournament.